prior to after, obviously, but now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at his age, even at an elder version of him.
It was pretty cool to see, and honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny, because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao.
Yes, Manny, you can't come out of retirement because this guy is so bad. Like, that fired him up a little bit, and then he goes in the ring and he does nothing. He goes in the ring and, like, I thought it was an embarrassing performance from a 30-year-old champion.
Fighters are genuinely unsettled by Manny Pacquiao's return, because at 46, he still moves like a man in his prime. Former champion Shawn Porter, after witnessing Pacquiao's training and his impressive performance against Mario Barrios, didn't hesitate to say it plainly: Pacquiao is still him. Despite the years, Manny's speed, footwork, and relentless energy remain razor-sharp. It's not just nostalgia fueling the hype, it's the reality that the legend hasn't faded. For many active contenders, the thought of facing a still dangerous Pacquiao is more than a challenge, it's a legitimate threat. He's not just back, he's proving he can still dominate the sport's elite. Fighters are genuinely unsettled by Manny Pacquiao's return, because at 46, he still moves like a man in his prime. Former champion Shawn Porter, after witnessing Pacquiao's training and his impressive performance against Mario Barrios, didn't hesitate to say it plainly: Pacquiao is still him. Despite the years, Manny's speed, footwork, and relentless energy remain razor-sharp. It's not just nostalgia fueling the hype, it's the reality that the legend hasn't faded. For many active contenders, the thought of facing a still dangerous Pacquiao is more than a challenge, it's a legitimate threat. He's not just back, he's proving he can still dominate the sport's elite.
Everything, man. I watched him train like last week or the week before, and it's amazing to see him still move and bounce and do all the same things that he was doing in camp years ago when I was with him. So he's still locked in, he's still him, you know? Crazy, but he is. You know what they say, man, the last thing to go is that power.
Chris Algieri, who previously competed alongside Manny Pacquiao at their peak, contributes a unique and trustworthy perspective to the discussion. To him, Pacquiao is more than just a great fighter, he's an anomaly. While age usually dulls a boxer's edge, Algieri insists Pacquiao defies that rule. Even now, younger, fresher opponents find themselves bewildered by his style. Algieri calls Manny one of the most difficult fighters to prepare for: unpredictable, lightning fast, explosive, and relentless. He stresses that no amount of training can replicate what Pacquiao brings to the ring. His timing, angles, and intensity remain unmatched. For Algieri, this comeback isn't just impressive, it's dangerous. And anyone who underestimates Pacquiao is making a costly mistake.
After, obviously, but now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at his age, even at an elder version of him.
In his bout against Mario Barrios, Manny Pacquiao stunned the boxing world by showing just how much of his legendary form still remains. At 46, many expected to see a faded icon grasping at past glory, but what they witnessed was vintage Pacquiao. His explosive footwork, rapid-fire combinations, and signature angles were all on display, reminding fans of the fighter who once dominated the sport. What truly set the performance apart was the competitiveness of each round. Even those not scored in his favor were closely contested, with Pacquiao's timing, ring IQ, and conditioning holding strong throughout. While Barrios was assumed to have the upper hand due to youth and activity, he frequently found himself reacting to Manny's pressure rather than dictating the pace. It was clear, Pacquiao wasn't just showing up, he was still operating at an elite level.
Manny's always good at that. And my son really pointed it out perfectly. He was still good at it. He was still good at it. I think he was stealing some rounds at the end. Whether he deserved them or he didn't deserve them, whatever. They were close rounds. He might have stole them and addressed his cards. What we shouldn't forget is who's a special guy. And he put a special performance. I never saw camps on the legs of somebody that good. I mean, it's incredible. I thought early on he stumbled a little bit. I thought his legs were stumbling a little bit, like you might see in a 46-year-old, a little bit. But at the end, they got the act together. He used them pretty good. He used them pretty damn good. What I think he also did was maybe a little bit of a little bit of, I don't want, I think the word illusion is too powerful, but I'd say a little misleading, where he threw those real fast punches like my son said. They weren't quality punches like they used to be, where there was real impact and real power at the end of them. They were more like just quick punches, and they weren't all being impactful. They weren't all landing clean. Some did. They weren't all landing clean, and they definitely weren't landing with real power.
Social media star and fighter Salt Papi added fuel to the growing buzz around a possible Mayweather-Pacquiao rematch with a confident and provocative take. He argued that Manny Pacquiao's current form proves he's still sharp, hungry, and fully immersed in real competition, unlike Floyd Mayweather, who's been out of the true fight game for years and limited himself to exhibitions. Salt Papi believes that if the two legends were to clash again, it wouldn't look anything like their 2015 bout. This time, Manny's pace, rhythm, and relentless activity would overwhelm Mayweather's now diminished reflexes. While Floyd has preserved his perfect record in low-stakes exhibitions, it's Pacquiao who, in Salt Papi's eyes, remains the bigger threat, fighting real fights, staying battle-tested, and showing he still has the tools to dismantle even the best.
Recently, I know you're friends with him.
No, I haven't spoken to him, no.
What would you want to see him do next?
Fight Floyd Mayweather or Gervonta Tank.
Think he beats Tank, a near prime Tank David?
No, we'll see. Like, styles make fights, so we just don't know.
What about Mayweather versus Pacquiao too?
Yeah, that'll be a good fight. Yeah. Money is still
Pacquiao's performance against Barrios was a powerful reminder of why he's considered a once-in-a-generation talent. Every time Barrios tried to initiate offense, Manny would instantly answer with rapid-fire combinations. 2, sometimes 3 lightning-quick punches that left no room for hesitation. His energy, output, and movement stood in sharp contrast to Barrios' hesitant and reactive approach. What truly stunned fans and analysts was how youthful Pacquiao still looked in the ring. His footwork was electric, cutting angles, gliding in and out, and constantly creating openings. Round after round, his legs never stopped working. Many questioned the final decision, pointing out that Pacquiao's consistent aggression and high-volume attack clearly overshadowed Barrios' minimal counters. This wasn't just a good showing for a 46-year-old, it was the performance of a fighter who still looks like he belongs among boxing's elite.
So tentative in this fight, he was essentially standing there for some of the exchanges. Manny Pacquiao came out and did what Manny Pacquiao does. By the way, credit to Manny. At 46, he still had some feet. He was moving, dancing on Mario Barrios. He was throwing combination punches going forward on Mario Barrios. And when he wasn't doing that, he was countering Mario Barrios, who looked like a stick in the mud. He looked like he couldn't even get out of first gear because Manny was hitting with combinations. Were they hurting super bad? Maybe not. Some of them definitely were. Had a mouse under the eye of Mario Barrios, but others were flurries, and they were keeping Barrios at bay. When Barrios was throwing 1, Pacquiao was throwing 3. When Barrios would throw out his jab, Manny would counter with his lead right hand, stepping on the inside plane, doing all the old Manny shit. It was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny, because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling, for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao, but 2, just how great he was. 8 division world champion, started his career at 106, I think, comes up to 147.
Skeptics continue to question Manny Pacquiao's true motivation for returning to the ring, with many pointing to money as the driving force. As an 8-division world champion, Hall of Famer, and global icon, Pacquiao has already cemented a legacy few could ever match. He has nothing left to prove and, by all accounts, could enjoy a well-earned retirement in comfort and respect. Yet his decision to lace up the gloves again has raised eyebrows. Critics argue that at 46, the risks far outweigh the rewards. The physical demands of boxing only intensify with age, and the danger of long-term damage is ever present. For some, it's hard to believe that pride or desire to enhance his legacy alone would bring him back. They see this comeback not as a pursuit of greatness, but as a calculated move tied to the promise of a massive payday.
Yeah, crazy coming back and fighting is because they don't understand what's going on in Manny Pacquiao's life. When a fighter, 46 years old, he doesn't just come back to fight top fighter because he just wants to fight a top fighter. When he's going through that, that's what brought him to that place in the first place. And that is having what we call bandwidth tension. He's totally scattered his brain and lost so much money over the course of time. And the same thing that happens when you get a paycheck and you start spending, and because you get shiny object syndrome, you want to get the new watch, you want to get the new gear, you want to eat at the restaurant, you want to go spend money. That shiny object syndrome, and you can't get it under control, same way that Manny Pacquiao did. He couldn't get things under control. So therein lies the situation where all of that money that he's made, hundreds of millions of dollars, just burnt. Now you gotta fight. But if you really stop focusing on the symptom, you start concentrating on the root of this thing. And the root of this thing is bandwidth, shiny object syndrome, trying to be so relevant in so many different scenarios. You want to train, you want to run this other business, you want to do this, you got this great idea. And it all boils down to the term that I use all the time, and that's compensatory control, laser focus. Get one idea, follow through with that idea. You got to have a plan in order to do it. And that's how you get to from here to here. That's when you're 46, you don't have to fight anymore. And that is my message today. Just understand why you're scattered. Understand why you can't get anything going all the way through. You can never finish that thought process and execute the plan, and therefore you continue to find yourself in a situation where you're desperate. You're trying to find a way to get back to where you were, which is evil. But if you stay locked in and concentrate on the compensatory control factor of your life, which is doing everything that you think of every single day the exact same way, and I take 1 minute to go to...
Manny Pacquiao has long dismissed the notion that his return to the ring is driven by money. Throughout his career, he's earned just as much admiration for his generosity as for his achievements in boxing. From building hospitals to funding schools and aiding disaster relief in the Philippines, Pacquiao has consistently used his wealth to uplift others. He's made it clear, time and again, that he fights not for profit, but for purpose. In his own words, this comeback is about passion, legacy, and inspiring those who still dare to dream. He wants to prove that age is no barrier when the heart remains strong. For Pacquiao, stepping into the ring isn't about chasing a paycheck, it's about chasing greatness one more time. With the Barrios fight now in the rearview, talk has shifted to one burning question: who will dare face him next?
Champion, I realized that this is the time that I can help my family. Before that, we don't have food to eat in one day. We just drink a lot of water to survive. And I remember one time, my young brother is 5 years old back then, and he was crying like in the afternoon, 1:30 in the afternoon. He's crying because he's hungry. He's asking for food. We don't eat breakfast, we don't eat lunch. He don't understand what is. You're telling him no money. We have no money to buy food, and he's crying like, "Mom, I'm hungry." Like he's crying, and I look to my mom and look at his eyes, and tears flow in his eyes, and I feel so sad. And like, of course, I'm crying also because hungry. We drink water to survive. That's our past, so that's why I always told them that, Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao, but I don't have the right to become arrogant, to become boastful. I want to stay humble because we've been there.
Rolly Romero has quickly surfaced as a leading contender to face Manny Pacquiao next, especially after recent training footage hinted that he's already gearing up for the opportunity. His camp appears eager, expressing strong interest in the bout, and Romero himself has stated he'd be honored to step into the ring with a legend like Pacquiao. At the same time, other big names, most notably Gervonta Tank Davis, have been mentioned as potential opponents. However, that matchup faces hurdles, with promotional politics and scheduling making it far from a sure thing. Still, with Pacquiao back in the spotlight, the list of challengers is growing, and the boxing world is watching closely to see who will get the call.